What's up, everybody? It's me, Duke Farley, back at it again here on Lost at Sea. And this evening, we are talking a little Big Brother. I am happily joined again by my brother, Pat. What's up, Pat? How are you?
Feeling great. Duke, before you get started, I just want to grab some leftovers before we start. Sorry about
Okay.
that. Sorry about that. Oh, you can keep going.
Thank you for that, Pat. And we are joined again. Well, not again, but this evening we are also joined with my uncle, Uncle Shane. What's up? How are you?
What's up, guys? If I knew Patrick was going to be like Carrot Top with prop comedy, I would have planned something. I'm sorry.
I got like a bunch of shit ready.
I can't wait to see what comes out.
I have a pooch puppet. It's going to be great.
Is that just laundry in the background, Pat? What do you got there?
This is mom's stuff. I don't really know what's going. It's like old books. So
solid.
I'm waiting for a ghost to come out at any second. So
I love when a grown man says, "That's my mom's stuff."
Yeah.
You're a grown ass man.
Mom, shut up. Mom, shut up. I'm doing Big Brother. Jeez, unbelievable.
Speaking of pooch, though, the pooch got screwed.
Oh, you've been sitting on that one, huh?
I love those announcements. I was telling Pat prior, I was like, I love those the announcer that like makes up those like puns right at the beginning of the episode. And he goes, and will the pooch get screwed this week? When pooch, what are we doing here, right? With the volunteering to go up on the block. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Pat. No, go ahead.
I thought it was just funny because I love the edits they do in the diary room where he goes, "Dude, I'm Dr. Will. He was like, Dr. Will went on the block voluntarily." He was like, "You're not. This is week 2, dude. Like, this is not." He's like, "Dude, I'm willing to make a sacrifice to get Taylor out." And it's like, I just think it's so funny. He's comparing himself to Dr. Will, and he has no sense of what's going on.
Yeah. I agree with you. And aren't you embarrassed to be from New Jersey when guys like that are representing? It's like, why is it got to be the guy from Jersey who's got to be like he's like winking at the camera. It's like, you're like bizarre, dude. First of all, your pants were way too tight in that first episode, right? It was uncomfortable for everybody. You're a football coach, so you got that going. But then you come in and you look like, you don't look anything like a football coach. Let's just be honest. So who's embarrassed?
He's actually the water boy.
Yeah, I don't know what he was, but he wasn't smart, and he really let down an entire state.
Yeah, did you like his, like, you know how they do the right before the eviction, the speeches? I feel like he got a lot of pity applause there with the whole hyping up everybody right before it gets blindsided 12-0.
Everybody's just kind of like a weird golf clap. They're like,
You're talking about when they announced that he was out?
No, like before, like she's like, you can make a plea, like a last second plea. Like everybody has their mind made up already, and the two nominees, like right before the people go to vote, they like make a little speech, and he's like trying to motivate everybody.
yeah. He thought he was in the locker room, and he's like dropping things on us like, I have Asperger's, I have a lisp, I walk a little bizarre. It's like, and then he thought that like that he was gonna be like a hero in the house, and like people were like, "You're still out though, dude. Take whatever you have, and you're out."
Dude, I would have loved if Monty was like, "You know what? That last speech he gave really turned it around for me." I vote to Mick Taylor. I don't know.
It's interesting that we did some winner picks last week. I picked Nicole, Patrick picked Joseph, and Joseph actually was kind of giving him like a little heads up, like, dude, you might be like a little overconfident. And he was.
Yeah. And I loved Joseph was like, yeah, I mean, it'd be smart to like get you out. And it cuts to Pooch. Just be like, I love Joseph. Great guy. Idiot. Moron. Like,
yeah.
And then it cuts to everybody else. Like, we're getting Pooch out, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Also, the montage of those two just like all over each other, kind of bizarre.
Oh, okay. Let's talk about that, right? Where he's just like, I'm not submissive, and yet he's like a little puppy. Like here's the deal. It's like I have no problem with anybody, but like I wanted to slap him. Right? I really wanted to slap him because it was like, first of all, he's like Joseph is like jacked, right? Like, that's a ballsy move to go up and start like hugging up on Joseph. Like he might not be into that. I was shocked that he seemed really sort of open.
A little weird, not gonna lie.
And it's also like I love that they were like, oh, this bromance. It's like it's week 2. You've been in there for like 10 days. Like I've never met somebody.
And
10 days
like
in.
The old school when like two guys became really close in the Big Brother house, people on the outside of that relationship would be like, oh, that's a bromance. When the guys themselves are saying we're creating a bromance, it feels like it doesn't feel authentic. It feels really weird, and it feels like a very, very different relationship than we're gonna have a bromance, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But Duke, you're asking about that relationship. My question is, what did you think when Pooch was throwing the moves on to the blonde? And is that Nicole, the flight attendant?
Oh, Indy, the Brazilian.
Ooh. Yeah. What did you think about when he started throwing the moves on her?
It's similar to like, it was just both situations I feel were so like the other person, like Indy and Joseph, I felt like they had to put up with just like save face, like because they're playing this game, but like I could feel like secondhand like, ugh,
Grossed out.
Yeah. She's an interesting character as well. I don't know what she's up to.
And Indy's just like apparently the worst to live with. She's just complaining the entire time.
Well, remember she got slapped and then like nobody could talk to her for 24 hours. And then she's like, I'm allowed to have my time. And it's like, no, what, bitch? Everybody's living together. You're not allowed to have your time. Nobody has their time. It's a collective time.
Yeah.
DJ Terrence was trying to speak some truth into her. She was just not having it.
Yeah. See, that's when an old guy, it's like you're so in danger of getting voted out every 2 seconds because you're the old guy. And the sad thing is I watch it and Terrence is 3 years younger than me. So how do you think I feel when I'm watching DJ bus terminal Terrence? But the thing that kills me is that, don't put yourself in the old guy role. Don't sit there and try to like lecture Indy on her mood swings. Like just be you, Terrence.
Like that's the one, like that's the only like thing that we've seen of Terrence is that like what a hill to die on there.
And it's tough because every confessional he gets, he's like, that's wiki whack. And I'm like, Terrence, fucking stop. Like, come on. He goes, it's either something about DJing or he's like, I'm the old guy.
Right. I want it to be else. Patrick, I want it to be about being a bus driver. Like that took a left turn and just look at the camera. I'm coming to a stop, a rolling stop.
The Big Brother writers are like, all right, you got 6 more of these, Terrence. You just have to read them off.
They eventually let those go. Do you remember last season when it was the farmer and he kept saying stuff about like pig farming and stuff? And then it was like, I think then the producers are like, okay, they know who's the pig farmer. But what's killing me this season is the girl who can't seem to walk or stand in place without getting an injury. She's like, I'm as tickled pink as ribs on a styrofoam plate. And it's like, okay, bitch, nobody says that. That's not a saying.
Yeah.
How about her like winning the competition, like, and then after winning, stepping off the platform from winning and breaking her ankle?
And dude, all right, here's the question. Is the cart, are the producers not putting oil on the wheel of that cart, or is that sound effects after the fact?
Every time she roll, I feel so bad because that's definitely like add another one. And then when she's going up the stairs and she's just like, like lifting herself up and down the stairs. It's so sad.
She's a perfect case of somebody who got a little bit of power and then all of a sudden she thinks she's like a competitor. It's like she couldn't step off of that step without breaking her leg, right? Then she's standing in place. The competition hasn't even started and she faints, right? She faints. So she's not a threat. She's not a competitor, yet she's talking like she's eliminating people's games left and right. It's just not the case.
It's a great strategy, honestly, I think, because why get rid of the person that can't walk, you know?
Yeah, it's interesting because it's kind of like that mentality with the one of the seasons with Paul, and everybody, like, he just dominated this season, and he had literally everybody with him. And in the jury house, they're going over the game, and it's that couple that was like close with Paul, and the one ate cereal and the one had like a hard thing. And they were like, yeah, we were running the game with Paul. And they were like, no, you weren't. Everybody knows you weren't. Like, Paul had everyone. And he was like, no, we made some decisions. And it was like, you didn't though. No, you did not. And that's like with Jasmine, it's just like, she's just so focused on Taylor. Let's talk about Taylor. Put the enemy on Taylor. And that's like her big thing. Like, she doesn't make any other move except talk about Taylor, which is crazy to me. But I don't know. And that's a whole nother thing that we haven't even talked about.
Well, let's dive into it. Let's dive into that for sure.
I think we're all good at, we're done making fun of Pooch. Yeah. All right.
I think so.
Pooch.
Yeah.
You know, I'd love to see him play again. Just maybe like watch more than a couple YouTube clips of Dr. Will. And
I want to be that guy.
In week 2, I'm going to be him.
So Pooch leaves us 12-0. It was a blind. He did not know what was going on. He got blindsided.
I'm not sure he still knows if he knows what happened. Like, I don't know that he's caught up.
He's
I don't know if he ever will be.
I go back in the house, right? And they're like, no, you don't.
He called you an Uber, Pooch. There's an Uber waiting outside.
He's still talking to Julie now. So they announced this Festy Bestie twist. What do you guys think of that? Like, now we're doing duos, and it seems like it's going to be a thing that's multiple weeks.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of a cool twist. I think I was surprised how smart everyone played it, because it was Pose Pack, or one of the alliances was like, we're going to all split up, and I guess it was Pose Pack, which whatever, that's like not a thing anymore. But they all split up. Yeah, yikes. But they all split up and they played it smart. And I didn't think there was one Festy Bestie group that was like kind of, other than Joseph and Joseph and Monty. I was like, this is all pretty even. Nobody's like, I didn't really see this like a lot of people going, but yeah, I thought it's cool. I'm interested to see where that goes too. And it was funny because Julia's like, if you get eliminated, there might be a power, and that was
not what happened.
Not what happened at all.
I don't know how I feel about it. Like, I felt like after the first young lady left because of, was it Paula?
Paola.
Yeah.
Paola.
Once she was out, it just became like, it seemed like it was going to be a really boring game. It didn't have, like, the players weren't smart. The guys looked like they were just going to get destroyed. And there didn't look like there was going to be any sort of relationships. Like, I mean, if there is going to be a relationship, it's going to be down the road. It's just, we haven't seen it yet. So I think the producers were like, we got to do something that's interesting. So as soon as they announced it, the game became interesting, but not because of that, not because of the Festy Bestie thing, because the guys started to realize what was going on and were able to kind of turn it back.
And the guy that ends up winning the HOH, Turner, was kind of just like a wild card. Like, I feel like we haven't even heard from him at all. he ends up winning it, and his festy bestie is the previous HOH, which is Jasmine, who's, like we said, still limping and was
along.
We can move on from that. But yeah, it's an interesting twist. And Uncle Shane, you earlier in the week said your winner pick, right? Amira.
I did. Listen, here's the thing about Amira, and I want to say now it's like sounds so ridiculous because of she's out, but she had what it takes. And I didn't think that she was overly cocky. I just think that there wasn't anybody else that had anything on her. And if the guys hadn't figured it out that this past week, Amira would have gone the whole way, in my opinion. And of course, as soon as I pick her, she's out. It's like,
yeah, do you think that like the guys having that moment of like being like, oh, well, I think because of is it Tyler? What's glasses kid, Mormon kid?
Oh, who's TikTok boy?
The dancer who he's always dancing. Kyle and his relation, like kind of like a little bit of a romance. They also tease like a showman with Alyssa, where she just completely gives up the girls' alliance. She's like, yeah, we're in an all girls alliance, but you're cute, so just don't say anything. And he's like, okay. And so she gives him all that information while he's in the shower, which, I mean, I guess that's a strategy. He's like,
use what you got. Use what you got.
But then do you think that them figuring that out, do you think that altercation with Daniel, Taylor, and what's the cop's name?
Nicole,
that kind of like, first of all, that was completely taken out of context. And for the whole Nicole and Taylor situation made no sense to me. Like, no,
I
Taylor
agree.
keeps she was, and I guess she said it in a weird way, but I feel like it's kind of like that person where it's like they literally can't do anything right. Like if you're already aggravated and somebody like tries to console you, you can twist whatever they want. And people have been doing that to Taylor for whatever reason all season. So that whole fight. First of all, Daniel, what are you doing? Why are you jumping in here being like, don't talk to me until we get to the finals? He puts his glasses on, he goes and sits, and everybody's like, well, I didn't think it was that big of a deal. Or the right people were like, no, that was kind of weird.
He's like, don't ever talk to me again. It's week 3, bro. It's like we gotta cook together. Like I have to wait for you to come out of the bathroom before I could use it. Like we're gonna have to interact. But a couple of things, Patrick. It's like, why does everybody have their sunglasses on in the house? Like, are the lights so bright that CBS put in there that they have to wear their sunglasses? It's like, why is that cool? Okay. Number 2 is that I felt like the Elvis impersonator wanted to blow up, and he was just looking at something where he could have his moment. And what he doesn't realize is that he looks like a fool because he's bullying the very person that he thinks is bullying others. I'm sorry, but I don't know how to turn this fucking thing off. Sorry.
It's loud. It's
real loud, man.
Blow it out.
Really loud. So I apologize for that. You can edit it out.
We'll get that in post.
Put a squeaky wheel every time that happens.
The other thing about that guy is the Elvis impersonator. When he hosted that first game, he got super dramatic in his read, right? Because in his mind, he's like, I'm a performer, so I'm gonna do my performance of this. And then he did it the next week, and I thought, if somebody chooses him one more time to lead the game, I might have to throw my TV through a window because he's overdoing it, man. He's way too much.
And typically when somebody hosts, it's like they'll be like, welcome to the BB backyard, and then they'll go into the rules, and it'll be like a bit more monotone so you get the instructions clear. And then at the end, be like, and then we're gonna go. He's going the direction goes, and then you're gonna do this, and then you're gonna put your face in. And I'm like, I don't if they weren't showing me it, I would have no fucking clue what they're doing because he's
no. And he's adding accents don't make sense. You know, it's like, why are you doing that? There's no need for that accent.
Yeah.
It's like Julie's not leaving the show next season. Like in his mind, he's like, if Julie steps down, I slide right in. I do Elvis on the weekends. I do this on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Sundays.
Yeah. And now I'm gonna blow up. He's like, this is gonna be it. And yeah, so for Nicole to number one, like I get you're upset, but to like lose your cool because Taylor's like, well, listen, if things, because I think she was just from a genuine point of like, if things get too much, because we just saw what happened with Paola, she was like checking on her well-being, and Nicole's like,
right.
you don't tell me to quit. Like, no, that's not what she was saying. She's like, I'm a woman, and you're not gonna tell me to quit. And it's like, dude, she's with you. She's like trying to be your friend, and Daniel gets a snip of it, blows up, and I love that. The guys just finally like that was like my favorite moment when they're all up there, and they're like, yeah, this is like. First of all, the guys are like framed as we're the leftovers when it's like you guys are.
You guys were a part of something earlier.
You guys were a part of something, but also you just realized you guys were fucked. So you were like, all right, hey, Taylor, come here. Come on. We're in this together.
Yeah, tell me about those rugs you make. like they don't give a shit about the rugs.
Yeah. Turner turns into the most interesting dude on the planet.
Right. Oh, your nails. All different colors or just a one hand one? Okay, got it.
Yeah. Do you typically do that or is it no? Okay. And I love where Turner's like, yeah, I can like basket weave too. It's like Turner's just like can do everything all this stuff.
Yeah, he's like the walking gong show. Did you see him do all states in like a certain amount of seconds? But the other thing about him is that he had his moment when he called everybody out for bullying. Like he actually called them out. And Taylor's looking at it like, who's this young kid who is like, and she's crying, she's having this moment. I thought, wow, this is great. I hope he becomes like America's player for that moment.
Yeah.
No, great week for him for sure. And he made a huge move this week. Like you said, I think Amira was going to go very deep in the game, and he snipped that right in the butt.
I like that also because they usually tease like now I don't know what to do. Now I'm thinking differently, and they never do it. And you're kind of like, all right, they tease it so it's not so clear cut. But when he was like, yeah, no, I think we're actually going to do this. And I was like, I think they're actually going to do this, and then they did it, and it was great.
Did either of you guys have like a little bit of panic when he decided to talk to DJ Terrence ahead of time and give him a heads up?
I thought Terrence was going to spill the beans for sure. He seems like the kind of guy that doesn't really know much about the game, might let that slip.
Yeah, he looks like the guy who wants to make the women happy, So like he plays an extra song at karaoke DJ. He goes an extra stop with his bus when he's not supposed to for the ladies. Like he's the guy that like tells them when he's supposed but I was so glad he kept that to himself because he could have really ruined that. If Amira had known, that would have been trouble.
Another thing about DJ Terrence, I thought that was funny at the end of this past episode where, Amira's blindsided and Julie's like, all right, the twist that was supposed to be a power, it's not really a power, but now Terrence, you get to choose which duo you want to be a part of. He scans the room and sees the two most jacked dudes. He's like, that's where I'm going.
And did you see their faces?
They're like, oh.
Yeah, like they hugged him later because I was watching that. But like when they first said it,
like, okay,
yeah, Joseph, exactly. They weren't thrilled.
Yeah, Taryn, yeah. We were cool earlier, but yeah, you can join too for sure.
Yeah. And Terrence goes over. He's like, "Now we're playing this game together." And they're like, "All right, well, okay."
Like, get your hand off my back.
Yeah. Where is that record scratch coming from? What?
So now we have. I mean, I haven't watched any of the episode tonight, but they're going to be competing as a trio, and I think the duo twists continues. Patrick, your winner pick's looking pretty good, so I'll probably stay with Joseph, right?
Yeah, he's in a good spot. I was listening to Derek and Cody's podcast, The Winner's Circle, and apparently, like they go into it a little.
Why would you
What?
say that on? Why would you say that on my podcast, bro?
Yeah, you're right.
You could have brought your mom's laundry upstairs in the time that you were listening to that podcast.
I was listening to some joke of a podcast, not as good as this one, but and I don't watch the live feeds. Yeah, they're gonna watch this and be really upset. I was listening to apparently in the live feed. Apparently, his big thing is he likes to talk a lot, so that might be an issue. But as of right now, I'm like, all right, we're feeling good with Joseph.
It seems like the players that talk the least usually are the ones that go the furthest. You would say.
So yes, that's why I'm holding out for DJ Terrence.
My winner pick, Nicole, not in a great spot right now. Obviously, not in that main alliance, and she kind of like was a little bit of a hothead earlier. So we'll see where that goes. But Uncle Shane, you gotta pick somebody new now.
Let's see. Who do we want out? I'll choose them. Who was the girl that was getting bullied? I'm blanking on her name.
Taylor.
But who's the dude who makes the rugs?
Turner.
That's
Turner. Okay. So I did a joke earlier about Taylor, but that was meant for Turner, but I think you guys got it. I'm going to go with Taylor just because I think she's a survivor, man.
What a rough couple opening weeks for Taylor. Jeez, right?
Yeah, really rough. And just shows you the kind of, when she was playing pool and she was in the bikini, I knew that was going to be a problem for the ladies. But I was surprised that it was Paolo who like went after her and was like, well, she's a beauty pageant winner. And it was like she did all like the easy, like kind of like digs at her just because she was down there playing pool with the guys. And I don't know, I thought it was messed up. But Duke, I know it sounds like you're wrapping this up. So one of the things I wanted to bring up was, do you guys get frustrated when everybody comes into the give their vote and they're talking about how Julie's dressed? Or
I fucking hate that shit. The 1,000 shout outs. It's like,
oh my God.
Yeah.
Michaels was great. He just went, kissed his ring, said, I'm voting, kissed his ring and left. That was perfect. Yeah.
He's a super fan. He knows.
But why does everybody have to tell Julie how beautiful she is? It's like, it feels inappropriate. It feels insincere and inappropriate. Like this is a married woman, she's of a certain age. It's like, she's like legit. Like you don't call her out on TV and be like, I love that. Hey girl, that outfit, Julie girl.
Like we weren't just hanging out. Like we're not friends. Right. And also, Julie, and it's so funny when they do that. And Julie's like, yep, you look okay. Like, just so monotone back. Like, you look good. Mm-hmm. All right. Who do you want?
Julie tells one more person that she has to give them a virtual hug. I'm going to lose it. Like, it's like, we know. It's COVID. They're going to put their bag down there and they're going to sit in the chair. They're not going to cross over and hug you. Not one person has even made a step towards Julie. It's like, we're going to do a virtual hug. It's like, what if I don't want to do this? I feel a little like lame doing that.
Like she should just do the show in a hazmat suit, so they just get the hint. Like it's like
they don't get the hint that the chairs are like fucking 20 feet apart.
Right.
Yeah, I thought it was bad when.
Or have Zingbot in the middle, like just like blocking.
Right. I think Julia thinks that they're gonna come out and just start spitting on her for some reason. Like what? What was the There was something else. Taylor's treatment. I think Taylor's had it worse than like single-handedly has had it worse than like any other. There was the one season where it was, that big majority alliance, and they went all up in the HOH or HOH, and they were like, there was like 9 of them, and there was like 6 people, and it was like this huge. I think it was with I forget who. It was like this big majority alliance, and they were just like, there was like 10 or 11, like 10 of them, and the 6 were like it was so clear what was happening, and I was like, that was like really.
Yeah, that was like Mitchie's season.
That was really bad. That was that's like what I'm like the vibe I'm getting, but not not to the point where it's like so abundant, but it's like so clearly directed at Taylor. Like I think she's had it worse than these first like 3 weeks than anyone. It's crazy. Like she literally cannot do anything right, and it's like, and it's she still like there's these girls are still targeting her for some reason, and it makes no sense to me. Like she can't win a comp. Like she's like clearly not a threat. Like I don't know. I'm
always fascinated when they eventually get out of the house and they see the response from people of what their behavior was when they were inside. Like I would love to see how they react to that, you know, because they were bullying her and it was uncomfortable to watch. And so I'm glad that they saved her. Michael's the one who kisses his ring.
Yeah.
Who knew that guy? You know what? I'm going to take it back. I think I'm going to put my money on him. That guy just keeps winning, and he's smart. He knows how to play people.
Yeah,
he's like super fan. He knows like what to say to people to get himself out of sticky situations, and he's won all 3 veto comps. It's kind of crazy.
But that might be because if people start recognizing that,
but still, like he still finds his way into this majority alliance, like.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's just like a cool guy to be around, and he seems like very level-headed and
just a guy you want to grab a beer with, you know?
Yeah, but going back to the fight with not even fight, Daniel just yelling at Taylor. It's interesting to see what's going to happen outside because Daniel said something. He was like, you know, America's watching Taylor, like we all know, and all of America's behind Taylor. Like she's going to win America's favorite house guest, and as soon as they say that, Daniel's gonna be like, "Oh shit!" Like that did not go the way I thought it was gonna go.
I need that. Go ahead, Duke.
Go ahead. I was gonna say, do you guys have any speculation on like who could be going next? Like who's in trouble? Who might be going next?
Do we know who the head of household is?
I
know Pat watched tonight's episode. I haven't watched.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not going to say anything. So
okay. So then I'll say who do I think is going out? I think the next one. I think it's the girl with the bad foot because she's not gonna like. I think she's probably pissed. She's got some blood on her hands, or maybe the Elvis impersonator. You know,
that's the route I think it's gonna go. I think they're gonna go after him because it's all the Jack dudes, right? And then he seems to be the most capable of winning. So why not go after him? And he's already pissed off somebody in their alliance, right? So,
and they probably don't want to hear him host another competition. So get him out of the house now.
I wonder if they all feel
you think he's got an Elvis costume in there? You think he brought it?
Oh, okay. What about the dude who does the impressions?
Monty.
Okay, so Monty's like, I do, you know, listen, I don't want to brag, but I do have a couple impressions, you know, and then he does like the most obvious impressions. He does the Scarface impression. He does the Sonny Corleone impression. You know, it's like Vito Corleone or whoever it is, but like it's all the obvious ones, and they're awful. Like they're not right. So I want Big Brother to show us the reaction of his house guests to his impressions.
You know, he probably like in the diary room, he runs like through like 20 of those. I want to see the ones that like didn't make the air.
that were bad enough to get cut because everybody can do a Christopher Walken or a Godfather. I wonder he probably has some like 3 obscure ones that they're like, what the fuck was that? He's like, I do a great Big Bird. I don't know what to tell you.
Like if I was producing that, I'd be like, hey, this confessional needs to all be as Scarface, right? And then I'd have them do it, and then I would watch the editors just get pissed at me because they'd be like, we can't use any of this. This is like a terrible impression.
We're gonna use this stock Italian music that we have underneath this, you know.
It's just it's a random DR that doesn't fit in with any of the context of the episode.
But
shit, guys.
Do you also, just real quick before we end, do you think Mormon kid, again, I forget his name, Kyle?
Yeah.
Yes.
Kyle,
I thought you loved him. How do you not know
I
his
thought
name by now?
he's great. I don't know why, but Kyle and Alyssa, they're like, do you think anything's gonna happen with that?
Do you think he's a closer? I don't think that he's a closer.
Every situation he's been in makes me believe he's not, but he's a ridiculously good looking guy, and he seems funny enough. But he's like, yeah, I was Mormon and I love my mom and I love dancing, and I was like,
Is he a good looking guy? To me, he looks like, he looks like Chris Farley got in shape, like goofy. You're like, I don't know. I don't think he's that good looking of a guy.
That's honestly a really spot on comparison.
That is, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, you remember that famous SNL sketch of Swayze and Chris Farley?
Yeah.
If they smashed into each other as one person, that's that dude.
That's Kyle.
If they had a baby. Yeah,
Dude,
I don't think that's gonna. Yeah.
He's Mormon, so he can date her or can't date her, or that doesn't really play into it. I don't know.
Yeah, there was a moment in the one episode where they're like flirting with each other, and they go back to like day 1 or 2, and she's like clearly flirting with him, and he's like, yeah, well, I'm Mormon, so I don't drink or have sex, and her face just drops. She goes, oh. And he goes, well, no, I can do that. I don't follow the church anymore. And then like they play that rant music. We're like, and she's like, oh, okay, cool. And like,
that'd be great if he was like, no, I'll prove it. And then he runs over chugging beers.
He's naked. He's like, no, it's fine.
Kyle, please report to the diary.
Big Brother has regret to inform you that Kyle was eliminated.
Well, shit, fellas. That's all I have. But it's been great getting to catch up with BB. And hopefully our winner picks make it through this week. And we can chat maybe next week about the following episodes.
Where do your fans get to watch this?
You guys can catch this on my YouTube page, Lost at Sea, with Duke Farley. And yeah, that's basically it.
So it's Lost at Sea with Duke Farley. Are there other Lost at Seas?
Probably.
They're really sad videos.
Yeah.
And
if you go down that rabbit hole, it's a bad time.
Really
Duke, if people disagree with what we said or have taken offense to something, do they just
comment down below?
Is it really down below, or is it like, okay, because you're at the top of my screen. And so like, should they just fire off a comment to you?
Yeah, fire off a comment, like the video. If you didn't, dislike the video, it doesn't matter. But yeah.
It doesn't matter. He just like said it doesn't matter. Like he doesn't give a shit about his fans.
It's all about engagement. Get the numbers.
Can they subscribe to your channel?
Go ahead, subscribe. At the end of this video here, there will be a link for you to subscribe. Or if you're watching this, you're already on the channel, so you could subscribe there too.
Nice.
Do you guys have anything that you want to plug?
Oh.
Pat?
No, I got nothing.
Undergrad's new comedy special just came out today. So go over to the Undergrad's YouTube and watch our comedy special.
Nice. And Duke, you were pointing to where they would go to see it?
I'll drop a link down here.